Hi. Okay. As promised, this is about a 10-minute video on what we call the perfect pitch, our approach to creating an investor's deck that starts a conversation, doesn't end it. Let's face it, it's not a close we're necessarily looking for in that first pitch or in that first meeting. What we want is a second meeting. We want the opportunity to keep the conversation going. We're not necessarily looking to close it on the first meeting. So we're going to walk you through some ideas and some strategies about how we do that. And I'm also going to give you a 15-slide framework that you can use for all of your decks, investors' decks, and just plain pitch decks. And if you'd like, I can send that to you at the end of this video, and I'll send you a PDF of that if you like. Just let me know. All my contact info will be at the end of this video. So let's get started. So I'm talking to a lot of you every week, CEOs, founders, inventors, leaders of some particular solution, product, or software. And in many cases, you're describing them as game-changing ideas. And they really are. In some cases, I'm talking to people that are proposing solutions for some of the world's top, biggest problems. And they really are game-changing ideas. The problem is that most innovation companies can't help themselves. The elevator pitches, the websites, and the investors' decks, they do explain exactly what you do and how you do it, but in many cases, it's in exhaustive and complicated detail, and the belief that more reports and more research and more slides in more decks is going to get you a clearer picture of an understanding of what you're doing is not necessarily true. In fact, in many cases, what we're doing is complicating the matter and making it look much more complex than it needs to be. Even the most complex ideas can be boiled down into 15 slides. So the opportunity we see is when somebody asks you what you do or what your company does, their unspoken question is really, will I care? And your answer should be as simple and rewarding for you to explain as it is for the listener to process. So the opportunity that we feel is present is a big, bold, game-changing opportunity for science and technology and innovation firms of any kind to lead with humanity and to tell and sell your story like nobody else does. But let's look at some statistics. Even though there may be a great need for your solution, and even though there might be a huge future for your product or your service or your dream, statistically, the odds for success are not great. You can beat the statistics, though, by crafting a pitch that turns heads and gets funded. So beyond being one of the 10% that does get funded, your statistics will go up with a better crafted pitch. A little bit about me. My name is Jennifer. I am the CEO and co-founder of Truth and Dare. We are a creative and brand strategy house, and we focus on working with growth-obsessed businesses. Our area of expertise is working with the CEOs of brilliant and conscientious 21st century business ideas, and we help them take flight. We help you overcome the stalls, we help you overcome the no's, and we help you to get very clear and very articulate on just exactly what this game-changing idea is. And although we have worked with a lot of companies over the last 22 years, some of them you may recognize We love and excel at working with CEOs of entrepreneurial, growth-obsessed businesses. So let's talk about the problem. Despite the incredible potential, this game-changing idea that you're working on and that you're trying to bring to market or that you're trying to get funded, the game-changing idea is not in and of itself particularly compelling. Chances are you aren't telling the story properly, and possibly you are all over the place. When you don't articulate your idea in a consumer-friendly way, you diminish the prospect of consumers being drawn to your idea and therefore moving forward with your idea. Companies need to get into the heads, the hearts, and the minds of the consumers and the audience that they want to work with and express themselves accordingly. So what is the goal of this deck? The goal should be that it should, could, and can act like a thriller, with conflict and tension and suspense, with a villain and a hero, and of course, intrigue. In other words, we want to craft a narrative that starts a conversation and doesn't end them. We want the listener to be on the edge of their seat, wanting to hear more from us. And ultimately, we want them to say the three most beautiful words in the English language: tell me more. Using a strategic and custom-tailored process, we will work with you to identify and codify your company's mission, purpose, and key messages into a powerful and magnetic narrative, which is designed to elicit these three little words and, of course, to keep the conversation going. So let me quickly walk through these 15 slides with you, and you can write them down, or as I said, I'd be happy to send you this as a separate PDF. You can use these headings exactly word for word for your pitch. When developing investor decks, we swear by the Kawasaki method, which is between 10 to 15 slides long and lasts no longer than 20 minutes in length. This approach allows the audience to concentrate on and remember the absolute essentials from your pitch. And it's designed to generate enough interest to secure a second meeting. So the magic is not so much in this framework. I hate to tell you that. The magic is in what we put in this framework. What is on these slides, how we write these slides, how we present them, and the narrative that we weave through these slides supports the entire pitch, and we keep them going in a thrilling way. So let me tell you about a client we just finished working with. Their name is Crate, and they're a cybersecurity blockchain solution. When we first started working with Crate, we went through tons of slides in their slide decks, several decks, over 230 slides in one of their decks, countless documents, tons of research, multiple links, more, tons of information, all trying to understand what this company did and what their massive offering was to investors. When we finished with them, we had 15 perfectly positioned slides using the framework that I showed you above. And they ended up with a fast-paced meeting that was full of unexpected twists and turns, but every single slide in the deck was positioned to propel action forward and to take the investors on a bit of a roller coaster ride that left them on the edge of their seats, We wanted them to wonder how the thriller ended. We wanted them to want more. We wanted them to say, tell me more. But beyond giving them the perfect investor's deck, we also gave them the foundation for this. We inspired and united their people, all in 15 slides. We created differentiation in these slides from their competitors. We fostered stakeholder engagement and trust. We got everyone talking and walking and thinking about the company in exactly the same way, the way the CEO wanted to be spoken about. This lays the foundation for attracting staff, employees, partners, stakeholders, all the right people that we want on board. And also, it lays the foundation for all internal and external communications. We built the brand guidelines, fonts, styles, photography, as well as the messaging Bible, the beginning statements that this company will use going forward in all of these things I've listed here and beyond. It is the beginning of a massive brand strategy. So maybe you can ask yourself, now that we've gone through a few thoughts and notes, how does your pitch deck stand up? Is it simple for you? Do you have those perfect 15 slides that you can rely on as the basis for your pitch every single time? And is your audience rewarded with what you're about to present to them? Do they feel they understand it? And do they feel they get it in a compelling way? So those are a few good questions to ask yourself. And, the bottom line is, will they care? And if you don't think, or you're not sure if they will care, maybe there's an opportunity for you to strengthen your investor's deck. So a couple of things can happen at this point, and I have been in both of these scenarios, so I totally understand. You might say, Jennifer, we've got this. Great information. Thank you very much. I'd love your 15 slide framework, and maybe we'll run with that for a while. And I totally get it. I would probably do that myself first as well. Good luck to you, and I hope you can not only land on the slides, but get the money. But you may also be in another camp that says, listen, we've tried this. We've been doing this. We've spent years and dollars and hours trying to get this right, and we are stuck. And you might need a little help to take it across the finish line. And I guess you have to ask yourself, what's on the line? Millions of dollars worth of investors, investment funding could be worth having somebody else take a look at the deck and bring it across the finish line for the funding, for the clout, for the close. I'll leave you with this one last thought. The more words you need, the less compelling your idea. It's as simple as that. If we can get it down into 15 tight slides, and I know we can, it could be the difference between, you could be the 90% or you could be the 10% that gets funded. So here's my contact info. Please email me. I'm going to put the link also in the notes for a direct calendar event to my calendar. I'd be happy to go over your current situation, and we can decide together whether or not a second meeting is necessary and needed, or whether or not, with that 15 slide framework, you might be good to go. The call is free. I'd love to help you. Please don't hesitate to give me a call. Let's get you that second meeting.